Alright, so I have just finished watching the new episode, and I gotta say, this shit looks really fucking hype. So, in the new episode, I guess we're gonna kind of just break it down. Um, so, Elder's skills. The first is like on place, call something. This is actually really, really good. My one hope is we don't know what the cost for this is yet, but I hope and pray it is discard a card. Because if you remember, new card that shares with Leonore, activates when discarded during the ride phase, which Magnolia is going to be doing. So I've had this going theory where it's like, literally, if Magnolia discards on ride, then it's just over. That card is insane. It's literally like playing Valdebrosh in Willista. You ride up, you discard it, you get something back, and then you Soul Blast one, and you just draw another card. And it's even better in Magnolia than it is in Willista because you have Goildo, which one thing I am definitely confused about in this episode is you can see that when Patriarch calls back, well, let me go back a little bit. She calls back Bonispati, and then presumably she says with its skill she calls Goildo, which says that Goildo should have been in the drop zone before that. So I'm not sure why she didn't trigger Goildo to put it to Soul before when she rides into Patriarch, because in that case you just call Goildo, counterblast Soul Blast 1, call the Goildo back. You could use Soul Blast out the Goildo. So I'm not sure why Goildo is not in the Soul, because it was in the drop zone. And it's not even like, oh, I wanted to call it from the drop zone. Bonispati Soul Blast for costs. So other than like writing so that, what's her face could like guard with one card, the Vanguard attack. But anyways, that combo is broken. Like, ride, discard, Soul Blast one, draw a card, except you don't actually Soul Blast because the thing you put in gets Soul Blast. The Soul Blast cost is free, so it's just discard a card, draw a card. Like, literally, costless cycle card. Like, holy fuck. Like, it has to be that. Please. Please. Like, as cool as it would be to be, like, costless, they can't just be, like, on place, call something back, right? The one thing I do think about this is I feel like it might be locked to Sylvan Beast, because she calls Bonispati here, and then in the final turn, she ends up calling, where is it? See, she does use Goildo's skill here. She calls Sayrol. Let me see, where are we? No. Okay, let's go ahead and skip a little bit. So she rides Patriarch here, Persona Ride, which is another cool skill. So she calls a Gnosa from drop. So far she's only called Sylvan Beast from drop, which is not unusual considering that, those are the best cards in this situation. Like, she literally ones off double Gnosa. But my guess is that that's probably going to be locked to Sylvan Beast, which I think is perfectly fine and balanced. Obviously, as far as we know, Patriarch doesn't get any extra. It does get a drive, which is super fucking cool. But as far as we know, it doesn't get an extra grade. So I guess that's a little unfortunate because, like, you see her playing Bonispati, and Bonispati is literally just now a 20k attacker, which is not hitting over defensive, which is what I like about Magnolia. But I am sure that we can, like, change the build, especially now that we can actually play Sayrol in the deck. It can become 30. So definitely not the end of the world there. So we have it getting a drive on Persona Ride turns, which is fine. Like, the one thing I keep thinking about is there a way to recycle Persona Ride? Sea Rumble, I believe, only fetches grade 2s or less. Hold on. Yeah, grade 2 or less. So right now, my biggest thing right now is I want to find a way to recycle Persona Ride, Because theoretically, you could do that with Inglarv, but you can't really play Inglarv unless you're playing like a couple of copies of Elder. There's technically Ghost Chase to recall Persona Ride and then bounce it back. But Ghost Chase is definitely not as good without Inglarv. But this is looking really good. We also see her playing Lilikoi, which is fine. Like I think that card is much better in this deck now. Now that it's a much more like standard deck and it's not as much of a stall, like slowly grind out your opponent kind of deck. Oh, the other new cards. First we have to talk about where is he? Where's this guy? There he is, the deer. He looks goofy as hell. But this is Inlet Pulse 2.0. But he is better than Inlet Pulse in every single way. First of all, he gets power. What is Inlet Pulse? Inlet Pulse doesn't do jack shit. Also, it gets 10k power. Oh, here it is. It gets 10k power, which, when chosen by Magnolia, makes it 28, which is a perfect magic number. So this card, I'm pretty sure we were playing this card at 2 to 3 copies, honestly, because it also gets shield. So it literally fixes the 2 problems Inlet Pulse had. The whole reason I made that short. Inlet Pulse has no shield value, and Inlet Pulse doesn't do jack shit. He doesn't get any power. I mean, theoretically speaking, you could, like, Tekken 1 Forbid All here, and, like, call this out, call Inglarv, or, you know, add with the one of Elder or something, and then call the Inglarv and get stuff back. But without Elder, we don't have to play Friendship Fairy anymore, so it's pretty good. We do see that she counterblasted 2 here. One is obviously for the bonus body to call back the Goldo, but the other, it seems like Magnolia is an act that costs a counterblast, which is actually perfect. That's exactly what I wanted, because not only does that make this deck solid, but it actually boosts the power of Elder and Masks at the same time. Like, literally, the new Magnolia, you can play it straight as its own deck, but if you want to play Elder and, like, that toolboxy version that I love so much, Patriarch enables it. Because you go grade, you ride up to 3, you go discard, or, yeah, get something back. Like, literally, that makes Elder so much better. Because you just get back, like, one of the problems is getting back the Goldo that you discard. Or to give power. So that fixes that. It looks like the other skill to attack from back row is an act skill. So literally, you can go act, give 2 things 5k, because as they say in the end, it's actually based on your opponent's grade. Like, Magnolia became a fucking Direful doll for whatever reason. She became Androl. Yeah, let's see. For every grade the enemy Vanguard has, it lets the opponent attack from the back row, and it gives them 5k. So, presumably, if you're going first, you give 2 things 5k, which, very good. That's actually really good balancing. And if your opponent's on grade 3, like you're going second, give 3 things. Very good. We do also see the return of Alpin. She drive checks it at some point, which I think is fine. Alpin is going to be a little wonky with the deck because it conflicts with the Sayroll. Because Sayroll is a grade 1. And the big problem with, what's-his-face? Alpin is that he requires grade 2 or graders. But having one grade 1 doesn't mess up your play because it still gets to a threshold that it needs to countercharge. But the fact that the deck needs 1 counterblast per turn is honestly, like, not a problem at all. Like, maybe we have to cut Brave Shooter because, like, well, I think the cutting of Brave Shooter depends on what else ends up using energy. Because she didn't... Actually, no, she didn't use any energy. Because, like, she was at least at 7. So either she definitely energy charge 2. So maybe there's one thing that uses energy definitely. Because she went second, and she was at 9 on her first grade 3 turn. And then on her second grade 3 turn, on turn 4... she was able to EB 7. So there's one card in the deck, one of the new cards uses energy. My guess is it's a new Inlet Pulse. My guess is the new Inlet Pulse says on attack, Energy Blast 3, get 10k. And I'm pretty sure I mentioned this already, but the Inlet Pulse gets shield. Because we see her. Let me see. She locks the Lilikoi, which is bullshit. Like, can I just rant about that? Like, literally, if that Banaspati had just been a fucking Mpex, we would have been so goated. Like, literally, I think the other one stayed on board, so that's kind of amusing. But it literally would have been so much cooler. Like, she calls the fucking Mpex instead of the Banaspati. It's hitting for a better number. It's 23 instead of just 20. And she has the Golodo. She just calls the Golodo back off Magnolia's skill instead. Call Inlet Pulse. Call the Intercept Seal, which I have yet to talk about. And then call the Hulapoi in front of Mpex. And he's like, hey, fuck you. Who cares if she locks the Intercept lock? If she locks that, you have Lilikoi. Literally 10k shield. It doesn't make a difference. Like, it gives her 5k extra shield. But whatever. She had to give her a chance. That's literally handicap, bro. She used Valdebrosh, which is funny. I think that's very funny. Getting Shadow Arm. Yeah, see here? She guards with this. And presumably they get Intercept until the end of the opponent's turn. Wait, that also means they get 5k. Because, hold on. Because if... She says Patriarch gives them Intercept and Attack from back row. So... no, wait, it went to Soul, so she's guarding for this hand. I'm stupid. What I was thinking, my line of thought there is, if you choose 3 things, they give 5k until the end of your opponent's turn and Intercept from the back row. That would be... Actually, yeah, that is relevant because she intercepts. So that means that the 5k is probably active during opponent's turn too, which is technically not really relevant unless someone's like playing Leonard, which is like, it's 2025. Are you playing Leonard in your deck? No. But it is relevant if you can like choose things in the front row and then just literally have 15k bodies in the front row for no reason. But yeah, there's the Alpin. Like, I think we do have to bring Alpin back into the deck. Megumi was actually playing Rainbow. I think that's correct. Like, I'm playing Rainbow currently in Elder, and it does feel really good, just because, like, having all those different types of triggers, like, in most situations, they're all pretty good, and just, like, the increased shield value, very nice. The draws are very good, too. But let's see how much value this has. So she doesn't get any defensives, so this is 20, 30, 35. So 35 plus 13 is 48. So yeah, this card's a 5k shield. Yeah, it's 4k shield. Because that's 33, 43, 53. Which is better than Inlet Pulse. Inlet Pulse is a 0k shield. But yeah, this is really good. Oh god. Like, I think Masks is honestly a viable deck too. Masks might be the better of the two, I want to say, but I think Elder definitely has a place in the meta. Like, literally, I think this is literally Magnolia by itself. Like, ignoring the new cards, the fact that we got a new Magnolia and that it does everything that it does. I'd move Magnolia, all 3 variants, from middle of B tier, like maybe low B, high C, to like at least low A. Like, this is a lot of aggression, and I think that the deck still is toolboxy enough that it can play around with the best decks of the format. Like, Elder right now is a lot more solid than I think we give it credit for. The problem is it's not as consistent as some of those other decks. And because like your turn 3 is usually ass, but guess what this card does? It fixes your grade 3 turn. God, I hope my audio has been good this whole time. I just literally realized that my mic is all that. It's pretty far away. But oh, I think I've finally run out of things to say, so I hope you guys like this this ramble sort of video. Once we finally do get the effects on Tuesday, I'll definitely make another video.
and probably just work on a preliminary build until then, and we'll see where we go from there. But that's gonna be Carbonite. I'll see you guys in the